there's more bikes here than I've probably ever seen in my entire life. In the first 10 minutes of being here, and at first it's like, thinks it's absolutely crazy.
It's like decently chaotic though. Like everything is going at once, but like you still get a feeling that everybody knows what they're doing. No matter how close it gets to having a collision anytime, you're always pretty well off.
I started biking around and I saw that kind of order emerges from the chaos. You know, there are plenty of designations and markings that are pretty well integrated to make sure that things do flow nicely without necessarily constraining traffic flow.
I think the city's really beautiful. All the buildings are very unique and different. There's a ton of shrubbery and green life that makes it really environmentally friendly and like an aesthetic place to be. I would say Amsterdam's a lot more biker and pedestrian friendly. Makes it very safe for everyone.
It's also very friendly to children. There's a lot of playgrounds mixed in through the city where you don't see a lot of that in the U.S.
Every single corner there's a park and there's kids playing and people are barbecuing. It's like a city that's way more social and like connected through all these green spaces.
People in the afternoon, at night, they walk out to the restaurant, have the dinner like 2 or 3 hours long. Compared to my home, Beijing, everyone's so busy, so they don't have much time to enjoy the life. And I feel special for the Dutch people. They are really enjoying their life. Reading is the really convenient, quick way, but when you're reading, you will feel the information from other people. So when you get into the city to actually feel the city, you have your original thoughts or your personal feeling.
I do think, you know, most people learn best when they, you know, it's not just visual, it's not just sound, but it's kind of a mosaic of a lot of different elements that can be really helpful to people.
Reading about a city, you see Amsterdam and you think, you know, canals and like tight streets and biking, and no one ever writes about like the small places or like what like life is day to day for everybody. You see people like on their bikes with like 3 kids and, you know, flowers and like all their groceries for the week, and they're just making their lives work with like the city that they have, and you know, you kind of lose that aspect of like what life is like for the people in the city.
The first challenger is you have to have the idea, the thesis, and the question, and finally you have to answer this question to finish your film.
Although you're not personally here, it kind of allows you to be here on a smaller scale, on a smaller level. And it gets you out there more socially. You get to talk to people. You need an interview, so you get every different aspect of what people think.
It's nice to go through the city kind of with a lens on all the time, because if you see something cool, like for example, we saw this very busy intersection, and it was crazy. It was just like a cacophony of different bikes and mopeds and cars and trucks and trams going all at the same time in 10 different directions.
We just had our first interview today, having to come up with questions to, you know, guide something to get to what you want to know without actually knowing what it is yet. It's hard, but it's really satisfying when you can, you know, hear all these things that you're going to put in your final product and just have something that people are going to watch and might actually find interesting.
The filmmaking experiences kind of can be as creative and use as much critical thinking as you want it to. It's a really dynamic experience.
What I learned is that any city is a biking city. It's always a viable option. It just takes the right government push as well as a push from the public to really get it to become a biking city.
I think the biggest thing I learned and took away from Amsterdam is that everyone's on the same page when it comes to achieving sustainability. The compromises, the choices they make within their transportation network, it all comes around and has sustainability in mind.
The biggest thing I learned was that Amsterdam is taking the right steps to achieving sustainability, and they're moving in the right direction. They're way ahead of the curve in order to achieve change. I learned a lot about the bicycle network and the culture in general. and why the community is so efficient and very open-minded, and it was a lot of fun.
Like and subscribe, as always. Sure, smash that like button.
It seemed a lot more sustainable on paper than it actually is.
I try to get the shot out the window as like we went along and panned.